Hey guys, SK here, back with another Clash Royale video, and today we're going to be playing in the Arena Challenge. So, this challenge started on the 8th of January this year, and is a 21-day long challenge, so it's lasting all the way until the 29th of January. And essentially what it is it takes us all the way back to the start of Arena. So if we look at our trophy leagues right now, scroll all the way to the bottom, we start at Training Camp with these 8 cards, and then Arena 1 is Goblin Stadium, which unlocks these 3 cards. So, for the first arena of the challenge, you're only going to be able to use cards that are from Goblin Stadium and below. So essentially the challenge restricts you to cards in your arena and below, and as you keep going through the arenas, you'll unlock more cards. For example, Arena 2 Bone Pit, you'll get all of these. Arena 3 Barbarian Bull, you'll get all of these, and so on and so forth. So essentially the challenge is a pretty fun challenge, honestly. I really like these kinds of challenges since they take you back to simpler times when you were a beginner of Clash Royale. Obviously, this doesn't apply to people who've created multiple accounts. I'm totally not guilty of that. But it takes you back to that time where things were simpler. You were just playing the game, unlocking new cards. And honestly, these cards in arenas have changed a lot since I was new to the game and played for the first time. But it's still pretty fun, in my opinion. So this challenge, though, it has also been pretty controversial because a lot of people have had some negative responses, and there's been some outlash in the community, backlash. So people have been saying that, why would you create a 21-day long challenge? Don't you have anything better to do? Are we just supposed to be stuck with one challenge, 45 victories, since each arena is 3 wins long? 45 victories, 21 days long challenge, and people were mad because we thought you wouldn't be getting any other challenges. We weren't even going to get a global tournament, apparently, but we did actually just get the Rage tournament. And I did also make a video on that with 3.0 Xbow. If you're interested, I will link to that in the description below. But we did get the global tournament in the end, and Rick, the community manager, actually said that the challenge also caters to casual players. So it's not only the community that I know and you guys know. In fact, chances are, if you're watching this, you might not be a casual player, because I believe he said something along the lines of casual players are way more casual than we'd expect. Like, they don't interact with the game at all outside of playing it. So they're not part of the Twitter community. They don't always watch videos. They just play the game for fun, and that's about it. So challenge was also created with them in mind, so I can personally see both sides. I was a bit upset if we were only going to get one global tournament this month, since it has been really fun, but we did get the Rage one, and we will be getting another one at the end of the month, so not too bad. But anyways, today's video is going to be a lot more casual and laid back, so it's not going to be a try-hard video like we're used to with, top 1000 ladder grinding or global tournaments where there's a limited amount of losses, or grand challenges, anything like that. It's going to be a pretty fun, casual, and laid-back video, just letting you guys know. But I am going to be playing the Arena Challenge, so you can see here that I'm in Arena 5, just completed it. So I'm going to open this lightning chest right now, get some pretty cool cards. I actually do get Xbows, which I'm very happy about. And so you can see here that here's the Arena Challenge. It does end in 9 days, so I was a bit late to starting, but I'm starting it now. And so get 3 wins to unlock the next arena. Only 3 losses, but you can reset, and it is an even playing field, of course, at tourney standard. And so I have completed the first 5, and the reason for that is because Arena 6 is, I believe, Builder's Workshop. So if we take a look at Builder's Workshop over here, just gonna scroll a bit, this is when we unlock the Xbow. And so you guys know me, you know I love Xbow, and so of course, if I'm making a video like this, I'm gonna be playing Xbow in the challenge. But it is going to be interesting, since we're not going to be able to play with our standard meta versions of Xbow. We're going to be forced to build our own Xbow decks and progress as the arenas go up. So I believe, Ice Spirit, for example, is locked all the way at Arena 8. Tesla, which is a centerpiece of any Xbow deck, is all the way up in Electro Valley, same for Electro Spirit. So there are going to be quite a few limitations, but I thought it would be really fun to just play this with Xbow. And I thought it would be just a really enjoyable time, so that's why I'm doing it. If you guys aren't enjoying this kind of content, you don't have to watch the whole thing, but I thought it would just be fun to, have fun and build our own Expo decks as we go along, and just enjoy ourselves in the challenge. So, to build an Expo deck, we have to start obviously with the Expo. It's going to be our main win condition, it's going to be your damage dealer, and it is 6 elixir, so it's a pretty heavy card, and a lot of the meta decks around Expo usually work for a reason. They're built in very specific ways, And so we're going to be trying to build our own Xbow deck here. So what would you say is the second most important card in an Xbow deck? Well, to me, I would say it is probably a mini tank. And so a mini tank is anything like a knight, like a Valkyrie, like a mini P.E.K.K.A. Basically a card that can defend troops and draw out the value from other troops. So you can play it on defense to protect your archers or your Tesla in normal Xbow decks, when I'm talking about a knight. And you can also, though, the second most important thing of a mini tank in Xbow decks, and the reason it synergizes, is because it can be used to defend the Xbow itself against an onslaught of troops. And so, we have a bunch of options at our disposal, and I think I do want to switch things up, because I don't just want to play very basic Xbow decks the whole time. I think I do also want to have fun, and that is going to be a main reason of why I'm doing this. You know, similar to my Road to 100 12-win Classic Challenges series, where I try and get 100 12-win Classic Challenges with Xbow, but I don't just play 3.0 Xbow, I did at the start, but I've started branching it out a lot. And so, kind of the same idea here. But we are going to want a mini tank. Knight is by far the most basic and probably viable option, but I'll probably try and switch my Xbow decks up throughout the challenges, throughout the arenas. So let's just go with a Valkyrie, actually, why not? So Valkyrie is our second card. And now, for the next card in Xbow deck, I would say the most important card is probably going to be the log, actually. There are many Xbow decks right now, and there are a lot of spells that can be said are useful in Xbow. You have 3.0 Xbow with the Fireball. You have Archer Queen Xbow with Fireball as well. You also have Icebow with Rocket, Archer Queen Xbow with Rocket. So Fireball and Rocket are great. But all Xbow decks, literally every single Xbow deck right now, has the log in common. And it's just such a good card, because it lets you knock things back to defend your Xbow, to cycle, to defend against a lot of ground troops all clumped together. Also to spell cycle and chip damage on their opponent's tower. So just really useful and versatile card, and so we're going to be using the log. Now next up is probably going to be a building, because we do have the Xbow. We don't need a second building, but we are going to need to be defending pushes, and as one of my friends 7-4 always said, Xbow is an offensive card, it's not defensive. So if you're going to be playing Xbow, you're probably not going to be wanting to use it as your main defensive building, especially after all the Xbow nerfs and reworks. It's down to 30 seconds lifetime, so even if you play a defensive Xbow, it's going to be pretty weak to spells. And so you're going to want another building to draw out troops, pull troops away, and just defend well. And so we don't have Tesla available, of course, but we do have Inferno Tower, and Inferno Tower is fun, so we're going to use the Inferno Tower. And now we're going to need some support cards for the Xbow. So what would be fitting for an Xbow deck? Usually I would say the next most important thing is a support card that can defend air. So usually we run Archers in 3.0 Xbow, Ice Wizard and Icebow, or Archer Queen in the newer versions. Because you have the Xbow doesn't target air at all, you usually run the Tesla, but that doesn't really count as an air support since you're probably going to want more than just a Tesla. And we do usually run it with a Fireball or another spell, but that's also, I would say, not considered a main air defense card. And so we have a lot of options, actually. We have minions, archers, spear goblins, musketeer, mega minion, baby dragon, although baby dragon never really fit with Xbow that well. And so we could use archers. I think I will try and switch things up. So I'm going to play knight and archers eventually in this challenge, but to switch things up to start out, I think I'm going to switch it up and play with the mega minion, because it's, again, I love the mega minion. It's such a fun card. And I just really like it, even though it's not that viable in Xbow. So our deck is probably going to be destroying any other beatdown deck, because we have Inferno Tower, we have Mega Minion, 2 big tank killers, and we have the Valkyrie, just a really heavy-duty, really solid defense in this deck. So next up in Xbow decks, we usually run a big spell. And so we have the Rocket or Fireball available. I think I'm just going to go with a Fireball. I am definitely most comfortable with the Fireball, and I wouldn't say it needs to be a different spell just for the sake of diversity. Fireball is fine. We do also want the spell as our second win condition, usually, since if we can't get an Xbow connection with an Xbow deck, you can resort to spell cycle. And Rocket is a better option for that win condition, but Fireball is just more versatile overall in many different situations. So I'm going to go with the Fireball. And next up, we usually run cycle cards in Xbow. So, you know, skeletons. Definitely going to take the skeletons here, because they're just such a good card. I would say they're an S tier card. Just a really good card. and really solid to get value by themselves and also to draw out the value of other cards, similar to how I was talking about with the mini tank. And next up, we usually run a Spirit. Ice Spirit, again, like I said, is locked away in Frozen Arena, Frozen Peak. So we're going to have the Fire Spirit. So this is going to be our first Expo deck, 3.3 average elixir cycle. Not a very cheap Expo deck, but a pretty fun, off-meta kind of deck with the Inferno Tower, which you never really see in Expo anymore. So that's going to be the deck. Pretty long introduction, I do apologize, but again, this video is just for fun, so if you're not interested, it's not a big deal. I'm just doing it mostly for fun. But we're in our first match against Grizzly.Nahoy from Gremlins, and we're going to cycle our log probably, because it's the lowest risk card we can play right now. Skeleton's next, and looks like he's leaking, so it could be a heavy deck, in which case Inferno Tower is going to do us a lot of justice. Fire Spirit, as you can see, gets so much value on the tower. I believe that still does more damage than a Fireball. And for only 1 elixir, that's just huge. So he's going to go for a Goblin Barrel, going to go for a Valkyrie, and I do kind of misplace it, unfortunately. But Mega Minion takes care of the Baby Dragon, and we do have a Valk counter pushing, so I'm actually going to Expo with this. My opponent goes for a Witch, but that's not going to do anything against my push here. And so I think I'm going to log the Switch back, which will also let me cycle to my Fire Spirit to take out these bats. And then I can go for skeletons around the Witch. Might take some damage from the Witch, but I can afford to since my weaker side tower is here anyway. And Mega Minion is going to clean up the Hog Rider. We took some damage, but we're in the damage lead. And I don't think this Mega will get a hit on the counter push. It does force out the Baby Dragon actually, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to Expo, let the Baby Dragon lock onto my tower since it's not very threatening. And I'm going to have a really nice elixir lead right now, actually. So my opponent is just, he's going to go for a cannon, which there isn't really any point committing to, since it would just stay alive if I logged it, for example. Cannon would stay alive and still take out my Expo. And I did actually just forget that he has Goblin Barrel too. So that was another reason not to log. I did use my log now, kind of autopilot, but I'm going to Fireball the Witch, and we are actually almost back to our log already. There's the Goblin Barrel. I'm going to go for a Valk. And my Valks have honestly not been on point. Witch is also locked onto tower. But it's really not a big deal at all since Valk is going to counter push. I'm actually going to Expo. I could go opposite lane, and I probably will go opposite lane after this. But I want to take my first tower at least. So Mega Minion is going to do really well against the Baby Dragon. Fire Spirit's going to help against the bats. And that is just going to be cleaned up really nicely. So I'm going to go for skeletons. Expo is actually staying alive right now. So that was a really bad Witch for my opponent, I would say. Going to log the Goblin Barrel. Bad Witch though, because my Expo is still alive. So it's not exactly accomplishing much when it's just going to get shredded by the Expo. And as you can see, Valk and Mega Minion just absolutely destroy the Hog Rider. Expo is on tower. Might even get a second crown here. Looks like we are. Can we go for the 3 crown? If my opponent doesn't give up, probably not likely, but we can try. So just gonna spam everything we have here. And it looks like, so we're gonna give him the good game. Looks like we are gonna get the 3 crown. And really nice game. So honestly, I didn't play perfectly at all. Again, like I said, this video is gonna be pretty casual and just for fun. But obviously I'm not gonna try and just throw. I'm still gonna try and win. But there's the first match against an interesting Hog Rider deck. And we get a legendary token. So the rewards in these challenges are not that bad, I would say. They're pretty good, although it is a pretty drawn-out challenge. I do have to admit, 45 wins, because each arena is 3 wins. 45 wins just to get the final rewards is pretty long, so I can see why some people were complaining. But into the next match against Elemento Lumia. Gonna cycle our log, and looks like he's again not making the first play, so I guess these players just don't really like to make the first play. Gonna go for a Mega Minion on the Goblin Barrel. And Skeleton, as you can see there, Skeleton actually does help out against the barrel. And since I have a Mega Minion counter pushing, I'm going to Expo, since we have a pretty good counter push, and it'll help support whatever my opponent plays. He goes for a Witch and Mini P.E.K.K.A. Gonna go for a Valk, which will take out the Mini P.E.K.K.A. And I might just Fireball this, since Log won't be enough to take out the Witch. I do also want to have Log and cycle for his Goblin Barrel. So I think this is going to be good, and Skeleton is just to make sure the Witch doesn't get damage on my tower. So really great, we got a really nice Expo connection, and we are in a really good spot. And my opponent goes for a P.E.K.K.A, which is awfully aggressive. I'm going to give him the wow because, yeah, wow. But Inferno Tower just absolutely shreds it, so that's why I don't go for a peck at the bridge, because he didn't know what else I had in this deck. I still had the Inferno Tower, which I hadn't revealed. I'm going to go for an Xbow now. He goes for a Princess. I'm going to go for a Fire Spirit to clean up all the goblins. As you can see, Fire Spirit is also insane against Goblin Barrel. Actually, there was a period in the meta where Fire Spirit fully killed a Goblin Barrel no matter where it was played. By the way, I did take the tower there, and Mega Minion just to clean up the Mini P.E.K.K.A before it gets hits on my tower. That's why I played it early. But there was a period in the Goblin Drill meta, I believe, which was, I think, around May or so, that time period in 2021, last year. It is kind of crazy to say 2021 was last year, honestly. I'm just going to Fireball to switch back. Save Valk for maybe something like the Princess. But yeah, last year, Fire Spirit one-shotting Goblin Barrel no matter where it was played. That was one of Logbait's worst metas. And one of my friends, Riley, he told me to win, he literally had to go for a Rocket and predicting a Fire Spirit. So we had to go for Goblin Barrel plus Rocket just to have a chance of getting a Goblin Barrel connection on tower. So that's insane. Fire Spirit was toned back, but my opponent played the Goblin Barrel in a different position, not in the center position, and so my Fire Spirit was still able to take everything out. And so we took both towers again. So I think we're just going to defend now. It's pretty much good game. I might as well go for an Xbow, but I don't think my opponent's going to give it to me since he seems pretty upset. Actually, he might, or actually the low Valk might have not been the move since not going to be able to get any value with the time left. Megas are on tower though. Both Valks connect, and we just barely don't get the 3 crown. That Fireball was going to do enough. I think it does 207 at tourney standard, so very unfortunate that we didn't get the 3 crown there, but really nice win again. So yeah, that I was saying, don't play random P.E.K.K.A at the bridge, because you don't know what your opponent's going to have when you're making risky plays like those, even for offensive Xbows. I know I'm playing pretty aggressive with my Xbows, but I would say Xbow is different than P.E.K.K.A. But yeah, just play pretty safe. So another Goblin Barrel. Looks like bait is pretty popular, and another Xbow player, actually. So I actually misplaced my Mega Minion just now. That was supposed to be an Inferno Tower, but looks like it's actually going to do just a really good job and fully take out the Xbow. So I went for an Xbow now, and my opponent actually went for a Valk on my own Valk, I believe, but doesn't have anything in hand for my Xbow right now. So Fire Spirit to DPS down the Valk. And gonna go for a Valk of my own. Might not have... Oh wow, it actually got down in time. That is great. I wasn't expecting it to get down in time, since I didn't have enough elixir, but I just barely did. And that is honestly already good game, since I can just sit back and spell cycle now, but probably gonna play aggressively just for fun. So Balloon, okay, so Xbow, Balloon, Goblin Barrel, 3 win conditions in one deck. I guess in these kinds of challenges you have to be prepared for anything. And this is definitely under the classification of anything. So now he does have Xbow in hand, actually, and I'm going to be honest, my hand is not good for defending an opposing Xbow. So yep, there's the Xbow. Going to go for a Fire Spirit, Skeletons to tank as well. And I think I can actually let this lock on. You know, it's not going to be that bad, since Mega Minion does so much damage, and I can afford to take some hits in this lane anyway. Plus, my opponent is going to be really low on elixir now, so I'm going to go for an Xbow, but I'm going to wait till I have about 9 elixir or so I can generate enough for a Valk, since he's most likely going to Mini P.E.K.K.A on it. I think he also had a Valk of his own. Yep, Mini P.E.K.K.A. So Valk for that. Valk should take it out fully with the tower. Oh, it actually doesn't. I did not know that interaction. But, yeah, we get a really nice connection. Mega Minion on the Valkyrie. Might as well go Skeletons, I guess, just to not take damage. I would have had to cycle anyways. But we have pretty good damage in both lanes now, and I think I might just Inferno Tower's next Xbow. Although I do actually need Inferno Tower for the Balloon, so never mind. He goes for a Miner, and well played. My opponent actually predicted my Inferno Tower with his Miner, so he might get a Balloon hit for this. If he does, he kind of deserves it. But I went for a Mega Minion just to be safe, and he doesn't even get death damage. But that was a really good play by my opponent, so I'm going to give him to him. That was well played. Might defensive Xbow now, honestly, since he's probably going to go for an Xbow of his own. He actually goes for a Balloon, and that does get pulled into my Xbow, thankfully. So I think I don't have to do anything else for this Balloon, since both towers will target it, and I think it's time to start the spell cycle. So first Fireball down, we actually hit the Mini P.E.K.K.A. That was totally intended as a prediction. here's his Xbow though. Gonna go for Inferno Tower. Off to the side. He probably wasn't gonna expect it in a place like that. He definitely didn't. And so I do need to... I want a Fireball cycle, but he has Balloon in hand right now. So I'm going to go for a log first, actually, since I might want to Fireball back his Balloon. Since I didn't have Inferno Tower in cycle, now I have my Inferno back in cycle. And just going to defend the Goblin Barrel pretty easily. Good game, and really nice win to close out the Arena 6. So this is the first arena that we unlocked the Xbow in. We did also thankfully get the log, so really good synergy altogether. 10 gems. Let's go into Arena 7, and we do get a legendary wildcard here. Actually, let me check if I already have... I already have 2 out of 2, because I don't want it to overflow. So I'm going to use one, actually. Might as well upgrade my Fisherman, I guess, because Fisherman is fun in Royal Giant decks. So, back to the basics, building another Expo deck, and I'm actually not entirely sure what was added. I believe RG was added, Royal Recruits were added, Arrows maybe, Royal Hogs, from what I can recognize, Battle Ram maybe, Prince, oh yeah, double Princes for sure. So actually, why don't we try and have fun with an Expo Prince deck? So I'm going to go Expo, Prince, and since we have the Prince, we don't need Inferno Tower, I would say, because Prince is such good DPS that we probably don't need a heavy damaging building, and we're going to go for... I kind of want to use Mega Minion again, honestly, or, you know what, why not? Let's go for Expo Double Prince. So, Arena 7 is going to be your Expo Double Prince. Going to go for a log, and Fireball again, might as well. So now, what's lacking in this deck is by far going to be air counters. So, Mega Minion for sure going to come back. Bats, I guess, why not? Because they're pretty good at air as well. And I guess, why don't we also use Spear Goblins? Because Spear Goblins and Bats form a really nice kind of zap bait core. And we do have Double Princes. And actually, there is a popular Goblin Giant Double Prince deck that runs Double Prince plus Spear Goblins, Bats, Goblin Gang. I believe it's actually guards now. Actually, do we have guards available? Looks like we don't. Because I think guards used to be Royal Arena. Maybe they were moved up. Or maybe I just can't see them. I'm pretty sure they're not here, though. But guards would be really fun as well. Might try that out in later arenas, but we're going to be going with Expo Double Prince for Arena 7, so no idea how this is going to go. Could honestly go really badly, because Double Princes don't really have great synergy with Expo. Usually you're meant to build a one big push with them, and usually that fits with Giant or Golem, but it's fine. We're here to have fun. So he's going to go for a Wizard. I'm actually going to go for an Expo, since that's 5 Elixir that he does not have. He only has 5 Elixir in hand right now. He goes for a Mega Knight. Going to go for a Prince. And I did react in time, it looks like. So Mega Knight, I did mess up a little bit since Mega Knight is splashing my Expo too. But I'm going to go for Bats as well. I'm going to just eat this Wizard, honestly. So this is why cycling Wizard at the back isn't really a great play. I mean, that was about 800 damage, 2209, 3052. That's like 43, I think. So like 843 damage or 743, something like that. I don't know, but just my point is that it's not very effective to threaten me. I literally just ignored it, and I got way more damage than him because he was down in that elixir. I'm gonna go for Dark Prince 2, since I think Witch would have taken out my Spear Goblins, and it is gonna give a nice counter push. So might have to go Bats for this Valk. I think I will. Why not? I guess. He predicts a log, actually, so because of that prediction, I'm going to go for an Expo. Since he's going to be down Elixir, he's definitely not going to have enough for Mega Knight. Might have enough for his Wizard. He goes for a Barb Barrel, and it looks like he misplaced it. So, that's going to be Tower. And, I mean, he's going to have Mega Knight, but we have Prince. Prince is honestly such a good card. I think Prince is secretly overpowered. Here, look at this. This is what I was going to say. Prince can fully counter a Mega Knight one-on-one. And, I mean, so can Knight. Going to log this Skarmy back, by the way. But here you can see Prince, it does way more damage than the Mega Knight does to it. And with both towers helping out, it's going to be huge. Plus, it's actually going to charge and counter push. So he's going to have to respond again. He just wasted his Skeleton Army as well. So I guess he doesn't have to respond, but that's a lot of damage to his King Tower. So I'm going to go for a Mega Minion. And Mega Knight's out of cycle, so might as well go for another Expo. And I do have Prince in cycle again, if he goes for a Valk or something like that, to pressure. Looks like my opponent might have given up, so let's build a nice double Prince push here. The whole point of the deck double princes, and it's going to charge on tower. Dark Prince going to charge on tower, actually going to keep charging, and this is going to be a really nice 3 crown. So Xbow double prince, not what you would expect, I know, but it could possibly work. I honestly might look into some kind of Xbow double prince, or at least Xbow normal prince in my Road to 112 in Classic Challenges series, because that was really fun. But 1 win, let's keep it going. And I don't think I have Pass Royale on this account. Yeah, I don't. So if we do lose 3 times, we're going to have to pay gems to come back in. So hopefully we don't lose 3 times. Going to cycle Bats first play. He goes for a Mega Knight Bats of his own. This is actually kind of unfortunate. I went for Prince like that to try and get the Bats, and it looks like my plan actually worked out pretty well. So now I'm going to go for a double Prince push, because that was awfully aggressive by my opponent. Going Mega Knight Prince first play. Dark Prince going to charge on his Prince, and going to charge on tower as well. I could go for Spear Goblins here, but this is honestly going to be a lot in and of itself. And Mega Minions on tower. Going to go for an Xbow at 6 elixir, actually, because my opponent's probably at like 2 or 3 elixir, or some really low amount. He's going to have Hog. Going to go for Bats. He should not have enough to spell these down, though, right away at least. And yep, he does have Log, not Zap. So Xbow locks on, 1 Bat. I don't know if that got a hit. I don't think it did. But I know that sometimes when 5 Bats are coming down, 1 gets a hit. Can be actually kind of annoying. But yeah, that's why you don't go Mega Knight Mega Knight at the bridge first play. Because I have Prince, and I'm going to counter push off it. He went for Mega Knight Bats too. Actually, Bats are kind of annoying in this deck because I don't have a Zap. I do have a Log, same as him. So going to have to try and snipe them with my Mega Minion. Hopefully they don't swarm it fast enough though. And looking like this Mega Knight might lock onto my tower, so I have to go for Dark Prince too. Well played by my opponent, pressuring opposite with a Dark Prince. Gonna just clean up with Bats though. Only gets a charge and I believe 2 hits. But he is not gonna have anything to respond to my own Dark Prince. So that's gonna be tower down. And so Spear Goblins to pull this Prince. Let's see if he goes for Prediction Log. He honestly might. My opponent seems like that kind of person. Nope, he is not going to though. And he has Hog in hand, I believe. So I'm not going to go for an Xbow. I'm going to go for a Prince in the back first. Then I can go for an Xbow once it kind of charges up. This is actually pretty fun, seeing how the Prince charge synergizes with the Xbow. I mean, if you have a... Okay, I guess Skarmy is the absolute perfect counter to that. But that's why I have a Log. By the way, Mega Minion does, I believe, fully counter Balloon. Yes, it does. So that was really good. I'm going to go for a Dark Prince to tank for my Xbow. Spear Goblins to DPS down the Hog. They're not that great for damage per second, but they did the job, plus Xbow helped out. Dark Prince charging onto my opponent's tower. Gonna go for a Prince, and I don't think we can 3 crown. Gonna go for a Mega again. Should fully deny it. Yep, Bats are used on offense, on defense, not offense. So double Prince push coming in. My opponent's gonna be forced to go for something like a Mega Knight if he wants any chance at defending. I guess Skarmy works, but this is why the 2 Princes complement each other so well. And I have 10 Bats on the field right now. Because the Dark Prince, with the double Prince thing, the Dark Prince charges and splashes basically any splashy, swarmy troops, and the Prince charges and DPSs down any big tanky troops. So, it's really good synergy together, even though there's pretty much only 1 double Prince deck in the meta right now, I believe, and it's Giant Double Prince with Minor. There is the Goblin Giant one as well, but I have not played against that once this entire season so far. But that's 2 wins. Let's go for the 3rd to get out of Arena 7. And queue time is taking a little while here. So this video is probably going to be pretty long. I mean, I'm looking at it now. It's already almost half an hour long. And we're not even done with the first 2 arenas yet. We have, I think, 9 to go. So it's going to be pretty long. But, I mean, that's fine. I wanted to finish this challenge anyway because I want to play the global tournament on this account. He goes for a Hog. Valk first play. That is 8 elixir. I spent 7. I'm actually going to go for Xbow on the right now since he should be at like, yeah, he should be at pretty much 0 right now. So Xbow's on tower. And really good job. So I'm going to wait for this witch to lock onto my tower, then go for Bats. Didn't do it before because if I did it before, the Bats would have just got taken out by the witch. Gonna go for Spear Goblins on this baby dragon. That is actually, I guess, not the best trade for me. Gonna go for Spear Goblins after the baby locks on, because if it locked onto my spears, they would just get 1 shot. No point in doing that. Valkyrie, just gonna Dark Prince, I guess. I'd rather have Prince for his Hog Rider, not Dark Prince, because it's better for DPS. And he is gonna have to respond to this Dark Prince on the counter push. Should charge up as well here. Let's see what he does. Mega Knight, okay. So Prince is gonna do really well. And he might go for a Hog. So I'm holding on to my Mega Minion, since if he goes for a Hog Rider, gonna want that to defend, but if not, gonna have an Xbow. And actually, this might not be the best Xbow, because he does have a Witch and a Skeleton army. Xbow does lock onto the Witch first, though, so it's actually fine. He might go for a Skeleton army here, might also go for a Hog. Goes for a Hog, so I'm gonna go Mega, log the Hog back after it gets a hit. For those of you that didn't know, by the way, that is the optimal log timing. I actually had to figure that one out by myself, and I didn't know it before, but once I started doing it, it started going really well for me, so might make a video on that as well. I have a lot of video ideas, honestly. Not enough time to follow through on them. But Spear Goblins, we took his tower. Now we have to defend and try not get ours taken, because I'm sure you guys know that Xbow is not exactly an optimal 2-tower situation deck. Gonna Fireball this wizard. And he goes for a Witch. Prince should hopefully touch the wizard first. It does. Dark Prince. And okay, we're gonna have to get back to a Prince here. Spear Goblins as well. And I think I'm just going to Fireball everything. Should also hit the Hog Rider, actually, so really good Fireball. And my opponent didn't do the best job there, because he gave me so much spell value. And see, that right there, if I had a Rocket, sure, it might have done well, but it wouldn't have been able to hit everything as easily, because Rocket doesn't have as big of a spell radius as the Fireball. And Fireball is just such a good versatile card, which is why I love it in Xbow decks, although I have used it for 2 arenas in a row now. I believe this is our 3rd win of Arena 7. So really nice going there. Getting through the Arena 7 with Xbow double Prince, so we get a really nice legendary wild card for our troubles. Arena 8 is going to be Frozen Peak, and so I think to go along with the Frozen theme, we're going to go for Xbow with Ice Spirit and Ice Golem, because Frozen. So this is looking like 2.9 Xbow so far. And actually, why not? I'm going to go for Archers, Fireball, Log. This is 2.9 Xbow, but no Tesla, unfortunately. So we're going to go for... We have the Inferno Tower and the Cannon as an option, I think. With the nerf to Xbow and, you know, how weak the Ice Golem is in comparison to other cards, we're going to need some heavier damaging power. So I'm going to go for Inferno Tower instead of the Cannon. I will probably do an Xbow Cannon deck later on, though, because why not? But Xbow Inferno Tower. 2.9 Xbow with Inferno Tower. I actually played this deck quite a few times in competitive with Spear Goblins in place of Skeletons, and it was pretty fun. So my opponent goes for a Valk first play. Gonna go Ice Golem, same lane. And so with this deck, Ice Golem... Okay, he's gonna have Xbow, actually, so I'm kind of panicking, but Ice Golem should come in time. It does, so gonna Fireball. I actually might have been a bit late with my Fireball there. Archers as well, though. Xbow, okay. I was actually stretching a little bit there, so I was not prepared at all for that Xbow, but well played to my opponent, catching me off guard. That shouldn't be a big deal. So he has Valk Xbow. We do have Inferno Tower. Really good counter to his Xbow. He goes for Barbarian, so he might have another win con, or I guess he's just going... Okay, yep, there's a Mega Knight. So this is going to be a pretty difficult defense, actually. You're going to go Ice Golem to kite opposite lane. And Mega Knight does jump, thankfully. So Inferno Tower now to protect our archers and take out the Mega Knight. So it looks like one of our archers went down for the cause, but the other one is doing well. I'm actually going to Xbow with it, since I don't want him to Xbow. My cycle is honestly quite awkward right now. This is really great log value, and I might actually Ice Spirit to... It looks like a bad Ice Spirit, because it just dies, right? But it was kind of to protect my Xbow and get more value out of my Xbow. And so Valk's going to shut this down, so yeah, this is why 2.9 Xbow is kind of dead. Like, there's no one in this game who plays 2.9 Xbow at top 1000 ladder anymore at the end of season. I mean, 3.0 Xbow by itself is already in such a bad spot. Gonna Inferno Tower this Xbow right away. Could have tried to go with Ice Golem or something to throw my opponent off, but there's honestly no point playing mind games. Just take it simple and Inferno it. But yeah, 2.9 Xbow is in such a bad spot because... Okay, wow, I looked away, and he goes for Barbs at the bridge. Let's just defend it with the Ice Golem and Archers, and he does have Mega Knight now, so I'm gonna have to be careful of that. So I do really want to Expo, but I don't think I can because he has Mega Knight, so I'm just gonna sit back and actually gonna defensive Expo now. This is the anti-fireball position to my left side tower. Not sure if it's gonna matter because my opponent might not even have any spells. Gonna go for Ice Golem and then Skeletons on the other side of the Mega Knight. This is what I'm talking about. I'm gonna have a balloon actually, so Inferno for the balloon. And he should be pretty low in elixir right now. Plus I have a defensive Expo. Ice Golem up high, not only to tank his offensive Expo, but also to go into my Expo's lane and support. So that's just how you want to be getting value. That's how the Ice Golem can be so good. Gonna cycle back to my Ice Golem really quickly here to maximize this lock. I don't believe my opponent has any resets. And this is probably my first time using the Fireball other than on the first Expo. But Fireball the balloon back is a very valid play. And it is really good because it lets you just Fireball it back, buying your Expo more time to lock onto the tower. So just need to cycle back to our Fireball here actually. So Ice Golem opposite, but yeah, that play that I made with the Ice Golem I was really proud of actually. Not only did it distract his offensive Expo, good game, and let my defensive Expo do work on it, but also it went to support my offensive Expo. So that is how the Ice Golem can be really fun and good to use, but that matchup does also exemplify how weak the Ice Golem is, because imagine if I had a Knight instead. Would have been able to DPS down things like the Valkyrie, like the Mega Knight, hold its own, instead of just being a tank that doesn't fight back like the Ice Golem. And with the Ice Golem, we were able to kite things around, but we really had to rely on other things to DPS things down, like the Expos, like our Princess Towers, and like our Archers. But 2.9 Expo with Inferno Tower, doing okay, I guess. That was a pretty hard game, to be honest, but we did okay. So gonna go for an Ice Spirit now, and log. It honestly does play the same, and I think this version is actually better against... Okay, wow, he's gonna go for Princess Balloon at the bridge first play. Gonna give him the well played because, yeah, that's just the epitome of skill, what can I say. But Archers are also gonna get damage on his tower. He spent 8 with the Princess Balloon. I spent 8 with Inferno Archers. That is the one downside of Inferno, though. It is 1 more elixir than the Tesla. It's also pretty bad against any cycle deck compared to the Tesla. But against beatdown, I guess in this demographic of a challenge, there are a lot of beatdown players. So in these kinds of games, the Inferno is actually doing work. And I was really scared I missed my Fireball there, but I didn't. So this is where the Ice Golem is going to be pretty fun. Gonna kite this P.E.K.K.A all the way over to the other side. And I wish I had Archers in cycle, but I'm gonna get to them now, I guess, by cycling my Ice Spirit to DPS down the P.E.K.K.A. So you can kite things all over the map with the Ice Golem, and that is where it really does well. So gonna log this Valk back. I'm already back to an Ice Golem. Gonna kite this Valk back, so you can also kite things backwards. This is actually something I learned from Dank Gannon, if you guys remember who he was. One of the best Expo players in the world in his prime. And he's kind of retired now, but I had a lot of respect for him. I basically learned a lot of my early fundamentals of Expo from him. Archers get hits on tower, and I don't want to Expo because he has balloon in cycle. Don't want to just Expo into his balloon. Gonna log this tombstone back. There's his balloon. Yep, so if I went for an Expo, he would have got a free balloon. I would have still had to commit elixir to the balloon since Expo doesn't fight back at all. So it would not have been optimal. So I'm gonna go for an Expo now, I think, after these skeletons kind of get taken out. If he goes for a P.E.K.K.A, it looks like one hit my Expo, so unfortunate timing by me. But if he goes for a P.E.K.K.A, I'm going to try and get it into the Inferno Tower's range. Looks like I'm... Okay, now it's in Inferno Tower's range. Gonna log it back as well, and look at that Inferno Tower just putting in work. Serious work. So Ice Golem now to predict his Wizard or Valkyrie, since I know that's what he has in the deck. He goes for Princess instead. Gonna Fireball it. I think I could have Fireballed both of those, but not the worst situation at all. Gonna Inferno Tower to predict his balloon. Yep, there he goes. Archer's low. And Ice Golem now. I think I might have messed up against the Wizard. Wizard's on tower, so I guess I should Ice Spirit. Not really panicking at all, though, because I have so much HP on my tower anyway. And I can just defensive Expo now, because I just have to sit back, log this tower, and defend one more push to walk away with the win. So Princess just going to Fireball it. Ice Golem here, actually, since if the Ice Golem gets taken out, it would have taken out the Wizard with its Death Nova, and that's going to be a good game. So yeah, I was saying about Ganon. He was probably one of the best Xbow players in the world by far. He was so consistent in global tournaments, and I just loved watching him. I actually kind of became friends with him since I talked to him on Twitter, and he actually replied, which really surprised me. But yeah, it was really cool to meet someone that I looked up to for so long. I mean, I would literally stay up some nights in school, even during exam season, and watch him play in the global tournaments. I know that was not the best allocation of my priorities, but I would say it was all worth it, and I did learn from it anyway. I should not do that again, for sure, with exams. But yeah, he taught me about kiting things upwards with the Ice Golem, and it's very situational, but it's really hard to put into words. But once you're in the situation, you can usually get a good guess of whether you're going to kite, to the other side of the map, to the right or left, or kite upwards, but you can do both. So really nice game there for Arena 9 new game against not a bad bro. And I guess we're going to cycle archers because we don't really have any other good first plays in this hand. He's going to go for a Valk at the bridge. First play, so might as well give him the well played. Going to have to log it back. And again, this is another example of kiting backwards. Look how nice that looks, although unfortunately it didn't look that nice because Ice Spirit did get taken out. But yeah, that's the trick with kiting backwards. Your timing has to be on point. Going to Inferno the Mega Knight and Fireball the barrel. So Inferno Tower is putting in some serious work here. It dealt with the balloon in the last game, dealt with the Mega Knight in the first game, even the Xbow in the first game. I think the first game was literally an Xbow Mega Knight deck. Let me check, I don't remember, but that's what I think. But yeah, here, all these Mega Knights, Inferno Tower just does so much work. And Ice Golem does not do any work against Mega Knight usually. So archers here. Let's see if my opponent has arrows. He has a freeze actually, so I'm going to go for an Xbow. Might be too late. No, it is actually not too late. I feel like I was holding off and that was a pretty bad reaction time by me. But it actually worked out. So I'm going to go for an Ice Golem now. I kind of just misplaced it. Not much else to say other than I misplaced it. But I was trying to support my archers. That was actually probably a bad Ice Golem in hindsight. And I don't want to use my log right here since I know he has Golem Barrel now. So I'm going to hold on to the log. And he has Mega Knight too, so I don't just want to Expo into the Mega Knight. I would like to Expo when his Mega Knight is probably out of cycle, if I could. But I don't... I guess I'm literally just going to Fireball his tower, because I don't want to cycle log. It probably would have been better to log his tower and Fireball the barrel, but it's whatever. Log is a +1 trade on the barrel, Inferno is a +2 trade on the Mega Knight, so technically that was a 1 elixir Fireball. If you justify it to yourself, it's okay. So Ice Spirit now to chip out. And I guess I'm going to cycle my archers in the back. Balloon. Oh, I remember he has Balloon Freeze, so I have to be a bit careful here. Going to go for an Xbow. And he might freeze. Yep, he does. So I'm going to Fireball this Balloon back when it gets a bit closer. And now I do have Ice Golem in cycle for the Valk. I think that's the ideal counter. Last time I kind of just wasted it. But now I have it for the Valkyrie. Split archers, and let's see if he goes for a Mega Knight. If not, I might go for like a really high Inferno Tower. Yep, okay, and looks like I actually somewhat predicted that Mega Knight. Gonna log this back now. If he goes for a barrel, I don't really care, because I have a lot of offensive pressure. I can just skeletons on the barrel. And Expo helps out too. It only got 1 hit, I believe, so... Ice Golem to predict his counter to my Expo. Again, like I was saying, you can Fireball back a Balloon. I think I should have Ice Spirited it too. I actually have to Ice Spirit it now because he might freeze. And looks like just barely doesn't get death damage. But yeah, these days Expo decks are running a lot of Electro Spirit. But Ice Spirit is honestly my favorite out of the two. I just love Ice Spirit. And okay, this is an interesting situation. Gonna kite this opposite lane, I guess. Yep, works out. Archer's low, and Expo now. And I do have Fireball in hand if he goes for a Balloon. Don't have Login cycle for the Skarmy, actually. So yeah, that was not ideal, but I can cycle back to my Ice Golem. And I don't want to Fireball this Balloon, I want to Inferno it. Because if I Fireball and he goes Freeze, it will not fully defend. Gonna Skeletons on the lower Goblin, and good game, so... Yeah, I was saying something in the middle of that game. Oh yeah, I was saying that Electro Spirit in Expo decks is popular now. That's also going to be Arena 8 all done. So let's get a nice lightning chest. I think we got a lightning chest at the start of the video too, or after Arena 5. Wild cards, whatever. Goblin Hut. I do need Goblin Huts, I guess, to level up, so... But yeah, I think I was also remembering that I went against... Yeah, Xbow Mega Knight Balloon, what do you know? Very interesting deck here. But looks like a lot of these players are... You know, I don't want to discriminate against anyone, right? Because everyone started somewhere, and everyone played this game for the first time at some point. But I feel like a lot of players feel like the Valkyrie and Wizard are a lot better than they are. As well as the Mega Knight. Like, there's just so many Mega Knights here. That is what... I started in Arena 6. Yeah, I started here. So no Mega Knight there. P.E.K.K.A. Okay, first Arena 6 was pretty calm, but then Mega Knight, 3 Mega Knights in a row, 4, P.E.K.K.A, 5. So 5 Mega Knights and 6 P.E.K.K.A and 1 P.E.K.K.A in 6 games. That's interesting. A lot of players, I feel like, they put more emphasis on these cards than they need to. Like, I don't think the Valk is that great. I don't think the Wizard is that great. But I guess let everyone play what they want. I mean, I'm having fun with my own Xbow deck. I'm sure someone would be like, wow, you play Xbow, you're garbage, you're whatever, but I don't really care. You know, just play whatever you want and have fun with it. But yeah, I was thinking about the Electro Spirit. It is actually more common in Xbow decks these days because of the meta, primarily. And I personally have found a few interactions that I much prefer it in. For example, Electro Spirit plus Fireball plus Log kills Archer Queen, or Electro Spirit plus Log kills a Bomber. Small things like those. But Ice Spirit was really fun to use just now as well. And it is, honestly, a card that gets a lot of value. It's just kind of overshadowed by Electro Spirit in some matchups. But Ice Spirit is definitely better in other matchups too. But I think I'm going to do this, which I didn't do before, and actually take a look at what cards we unlock. So we're going to have... We did unlock the Ice Wizard, actually. I maybe could have used Ice Wiz instead of Archers to keep the Frozen theme. Now we're going to unlock Inferno Dragon, Dark Gob, Poison. Honestly, all of these cards don't really work in Xbow, except for maybe Dark Goblin. But actually, Dark Goblin could work. So maybe an Xbow bait deck would do well in this kind of format. I also want to use... I have a bunch of things I want to use. I want to use the cannon. I want to make probably an Xbow mortar deck. That would be pretty fun. 3M Xbow, that might be taking things too far, honestly. Let's see. So Xbow. I could also do an Icebow deck. I think we... Do we have the Tornado? Okay, maybe Tornado isn't available for us. Looking like it's not, actually. So I guess we're going to make a Xbow bait deck, which we kind of made... Actually, do we have guards? Okay, we don't have guards. We kind of made a similar one earlier with the Spear Goblins and Bats, but that wasn't much of a bait deck. Now I think we're going to use Knight in Xbow. I don't think we've used Knight so far. I really wanted to use Knight. And I guess we did unlock the Poison. Might as well use Poison, even though it's just very much inferior to the Fireball in Xbow. I think we might as well just use it, because it's fun. Log as well. And now we need some cycle cards. So we do have the Spirits, we have Skeletons. Let's see. I guess it's not going to be an Xbow bait deck, because we don't have guards. When I get guards, though, I want to make like a really fun kind of bait style deck, maybe with Princess too. That would be really cool. But I guess Skeletons and Fire Spirit, because we already used Ice Spirit just now. Just switching things up. So we have... Actually, I just realized we don't have a building in this deck. I guess let's try without a building as well. Challenge. 2.9 Expo. No buildings. You know, very cheap support. Only 3 elixir support cards. Fast cycle cards. Poison. This should be pretty fun and a pretty good challenge, honestly. So we found a match against a Chinese player. Gonna cycle Fire Spirit at the bridge, as I said before. It's a very threatening and oppressive card at times, and I don't really want to waste my Dark Gob at the bridge. I think I'm gonna log. He has Bats so far. And he does have Pass Royale, so it could be someone who's pretty serious about the game. I think I'm just gonna poison the Dark Goblin. I was honestly a bit late with that poison, but I think it still gets fully taken out. Yes, it does. But let's see if there's anything else we would have needed poison for. He goes for a Mega Knight and a Goblin Barrel, so gonna go for a Knight. Mega Minion, unfortunately, on the Goblin Barrel is not the ideal counter, but it did okay. Gonna log this Princess now, since I want my Mega Minion. Oh, unfortunately it did chip out my Mega Minion. I guess I would have ideally had poison and cycle for that. But Mega Knight bait deck looking like. Actually, this could be Royal Giant Mega Knight, and it's looking more and more like that now that I think about it. And this is not to be racist at all, but I've seen a lot of Chinese players play this deck, because Little Chen played it in a World Finals, I believe, and he did really well with it, so like he's pretty inspiring. But yeah, this is going to be scary, because we don't have a Tesla. Like, if he does have Royal Giant, how are we going to defend the Royal Giant? I guess we have to use a defensive Xbow or something. There it is. Prince does go in front, I think, though, so small misplay by my opponent, and I guess we're not going to get to go Royal Giant. Not to get to go for a building on the Royal Giant. Log it back. And he might Mega Knight this, but I think I can go for an Xbow. Okay, he's going to go for bats instead. Dark Goblin's on tower. He just went for a Skarmy as well, actually. So, Fire Spirit for the Skarmy. And this is going to be a huge connection now. He is going to have Dark Goblin, I believe. So I'm going to try and take out his Dark Goblin as fast as I can, because I really need this Expo connection. Like, I have not needed an Expo connection more badly than this. I almost said badder. Because I don't have a good way to defend his Royal Giant, as you saw. I had to take all that damage, and I could have gone for a Desperation defensive Expo, but I didn't really want to. But now I get a really huge connection off of that, so maybe it was actually a good play to ignore that. And he goes for a Prince. Gonna go for a Knight. And Mega Knight gets pulled to the wrong lane by my opponent. I don't think he wanted to go there. Gonna poison this, I guess. We do hit the Dark Goblin as well. That's huge. Fire Spirit. And unfortunately, Mega Knight does take out my Dark Goblin, but Mega Minion still does a good job. Log can do a good job as well. Knight. And I can just poison his tower, so good game. I'm actually really proud of how I played that, because that might be my matchup, but that was still scary. I mean, he had Mega Knight, Royal Giant. I didn't have a Tesla, Cannon, or Inferno Tower. I mean, if I had Inferno Tower, that would have been really easy. But yeah, like, again, I don't want to be racist, but I've seen a lot of Chinese players play that deck, so after I saw the Goblin Barrel, Princess, Prince, I was like, oh god, it might be that deck. I guess that's a pretty fun deck, though. Props to my opponent for making it in the challenge. That's going to be a really nice first win, though. Expo without a secondary building. I know at the start I was talking about, like, the ideal Expo deck to build, and a building was on that list, or at least a tornado or something, but we don't have either. So this is, like, kind of a challenge mode, I guess. Goes for a Flying Machine. I think I'm just going to poison it as it goes down a bit. I don't know if this fully counters it. Actually, it might not. And I'm gonna log this Hog Rider. Yeah, it does not fully counter the Flying Machine, so that sucks. Hog Rider, Flying Machine, Zap. I think he just uses Zap. So, interesting deck. I mean, I guess our last opponent still had Mega Knight, so the trend of Mega Knights everywhere is still continuing. Ice Wizard. I guess I could poison it. I might as well, because I need tower damage. Ooh, Fire Spirit locks on. My opponent probably did not want that to happen. Goes for Archer, so interesting deck so far. Now, this is actually problematic, because I don't have a good answer to the Hog. Again, this is why you want a building. There's so many cards in the game where Expo just needs a building to defend. Or, like, you don't need it, but you really want one, ideally. And hopefully this doesn't get a hit. It does not, actually. Wow, that was great for me. Mega Minion take out the Flying Machine. It's fine that it doesn't counter push, because it wasn't going to counter push anyway. I think like a 1-8 Mega Minion that takes like 1 or 2 Archer hits wouldn't get a hit on their tower anyway, so that's fine. Fire Spirit to pressure. Keep up the pressure. Ice Wizard forced out. So my opponent does have arrows, which is unfortunate, because he's going to have a good response to my Dark Goblin. But they should actually counter push as well. Archers, you can log these back, and that actually takes out the archers, so not bad. Mega Minion, gonna poison. Last time I don't think it took out the Flying Machine, so don't know if it will this time either. Actually, the Skeletons kept it in the Poison's Cloud. I think now, because of that, it did work out. So my opponent might go for a Hog here to pull the Mega Minion back. Yep, pretty good play by him. Gonna go for a low Dark Goblin. And he actually prediction arrows, I guess, and missed my Dark Goblin. So I'm gonna go for an Expo. Pretty good opening. And my opponent hasn't revealed any big tanks yet, and Xbow's locked on, and his tank is going to be Valkyrie. I'm going to poison this, log back the Valk, and we get another connection. Might go for a hog here, he does. Knight Fire Spirit to DPS it down as soon as possible so it doesn't get any hits on my tower, and we get a really nice connection. We can actually just poison, although obviously not going to poison right now, since I do have stuff to defend, unless he just lets my knight take his tower, and he does. So I guess my opponent kind of gave up here. Poison, log, and let's see if we can get the second crown. Would be pretty nice. And we do, but no 3 crown, but I guess that's fine. So we started in Arena 6, and we are on Arena 9 right now. So, and there's still 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. There's still 6 more arenas to go, and we've done 4 so far, actually. So I think the perfect mid-ground would be to do, because I don't know, I'm thinking about it. I guess I'll talk about what I was saying after this, but I'm feeling like maybe I should split this video into 2 parts, because this challenge is extremely long, and I don't think I want to make like a 2-hour video just doing it. Would also be hard to kind of edit and process. He's going to have Hog Princess, though, so poison the Princess for sure. And again, problematic because I don't have a good answer to his hog. Kinda sucks. And wow, Mega Minion actually gets a hit on tower, so I guess if it does take like a bit of damage, it still gets a hit. Not sure what decides if it gets a hit or not. Dark Goblin on tower. I mean, I wanted the Dark Goblin to be on tower, but I guess I made it come true just by saying it. Knight here. And gonna log all this back and then go for skeletons afterwards. Not the best skeleton since one got taken out by the Skarmy. I should have probably waited a bit to go for that, but it was still fine. Now, if he goes for a hog, I think I might Mega and then counter push with an Xbow. So I'm going to go for kind of a higher up Mega Minion to predict his hog. Does not go for one. So I'm going to go for an Xbow, I guess, because don't want to let this Mega Minion just go to waste. And he lets it lock on, and that, now, a lot of people would think this is good, but I'm actually really scared, because that means my opponent's ignoring it. He has all the extra elixir that comes from ignoring it, and so he's going to go with God knows what in front of this. But actually, he did not, so, because I've made some really nice Xbow punishes before in the past, and I was really happy, but then, because I was like, oh, my opponent ignored it, I guess he didn't have enough elixir, or he had a bad cycle, but then he actually just went, like, all in, like, Royal Hogs barbs at the bridge. I think I remember that against a Royal Hogs player pretty distinctly. Gonna go for Knight now and log this back. And this should fully counter, but just in case it doesn't, gonna go for Dark Goblin. And notice I'm going for Dark Goblin in the right, not the left, because I want it to counter push. Yeah, it looks like that actually would have taken out my Knight. I wanted the Dark Goblin to counter push in this lane, not in the left lane where I don't need any damage or anything. So, I think defensive Xbow is our best play right now. Yep, because he's going to have a hog. We can Xbow to take out the hog. Both towers help, and he does freeze actually, so Dark Goblin there. I kind of misplayed my Dark Goblin because of what I was saying just now, where I want it to go on the right, not the left. But it's whatever. I just need to defend for another 30 seconds. This deck is honestly pretty fun, but it is difficult to defend, because I don't have a building, again. So, Knight, Dark Goblin to take out the Inferno. Skeletons to distract the Inferno. Just in time, actually. And Fire Spirit as well. Splashes on everything. And Mega Minion. Now he's going to be at like 0 elixir, so assuming I didn't have his left tower down, this would be a really good Expo. Since I would probably get, yep, I get a lock on the tower. And so, assuming there wasn't 10 seconds left, this is something I like to do sometimes. Even though it's the end of the game, I like to make plays based on if it wasn't, because that's just better practice for overall. But that's going to be a really nice 3rd win, and it's just crossing up on an hour. So we did 4 arenas so far, and we have 6 to go, yeah, like I was saying. So maybe I'll do a 5 and 5 split. So since it is, I also have to eat dinner, like right now. So I guess we'll do the last one, Arena 9, and then save 10 to 15. Actually, no, I think this is Arena 10. We'll do Arena 10 and save 11 to 15 for the next episode, I guess, in this 2-part Expo series. But actually, I should have checked what I unlock in this arena. So what do we have? I guess There is something fun that I thought that I could do here. I wanted to do Xbow Cannon, but I have also realized we have spawners now, and people hate spawners, but what if we went for Xbow spawners? Might actually be interesting. So Xbow, and I think we're going to go for a bar barrel, not log here, because assuming it goes well, so I'm trying to explain my thought process behind the deck building as well. Log is really good in Xbow, like I've said, because of the fact that it knocks things back. It's 2 elixir, very cheap. Chip damage, really great stuff, but in this case, if our spawner plan goes well, we will be getting chip damage with spawners. We don't really need the log, and bar barrel is better than log defensively because it also spawns the barbarian. So I think we're going to need the extra defensive support here. And I honestly really want to use Mega Minion again, but I know we've already used it so much, so maybe I'll hold off on it. What else would go well with an Xbow spawner deck? I guess archers, knight again. I just use knight, but we need like kind of the cheap support. We just use poison, so I feel definitely fine using fireball now. And we do need something to kind of lower this cost, because we're at 3.9 average cost right now. So I'm thinking skeletons or any of the spirits might be a bit too passive, because we only have, 2 real defensive cards. I guess 3 if you count the bar barrel. But spawners aren't going to be, I wouldn't count them as like individual defensive cards. So I guess I'm going to go for spear goblins, because they're kind of like a better skeletons. They're 1 more elixir, so people don't always use them, but they can serve more purposes since they can attack air as well. So I think this is going to be a pretty fun Xbow double spawner deck. I do apologize to you guys in advance for using a deck this, toxic. I couldn't help myself. Spear Goblin's first play. He goes for a hog, so wow, he goes for double riders, I guess, because Ram Rider and Hog Rider. That Ram Rider that play actually worked out for him as well. Wow, because he just cycled a log though, so he spent 10 elixir. I spent 8, I believe, with the Goblin Hut, and he just spent another 2 with the log and 4 with the mini P.E.K.K.A. So if these archers can take out the mini P.E.K.K.A., I think he's going to be at like very low elixir. So I'm actually going to Xbow with this 1 archer, because he's going to be pretty low in elixir. I do also have the spear goblins and bar barrel if I need to. And okay, he was not low in elixir at all. Wow. But I'm going to go for spear goblins and bar barrel. So I'm going to let the Mega Knight lock on to my Xbow, not the barbarian, because my priority is taking out this Mega Knight. It is not getting more damage on tower. So if I went for a bar barrel to tank for the Mega Knight, it might have worked out. I might have gotten more damage, but I would have had more of the Mega Knight to deal with on defense. So I wanted to kind of take that out first. I'm going to have a knight for this wizard. Very nice, just 3 for 5 trade. He might go for a Ram Rider or Hog Rider. Yep, there's the Ram. And I actually don't know if Furnace or Spear Hut is better. I guess we'll go for a Furnace, because Fire Spirit damage is really nice. But yeah, I don't use spawners at all, so not too familiar with their individual interactions, but gonna go for a Goblin Hut now. And let's see if my opponent has a spell. We do also have some really nice kind of double duty with the archers and spear goblins. They kind of serve the same role. But it's just nice to have 2 of them. And here's like, spear goblins are kind of better than skeletons because they can also attack ranged. So like right there, 2 survive against the mini P.E.K.K.A. Whereas with skeletons, it probably would have taken out 2 of them. 2 of the skeletons instead of 1. I'm gonna go for a knight now to protect my spear hut. And I'm gonna go for an Xbow since this is an interesting counter push, but I do technically have a counter push right here. And Furnace, that was kind of my instinct as an Xbow player to go for the building to support the Xbow like this in a situation like this. Obviously does not work well with the Furnace at all, but it kind of does work actually, because we get a connection and we take his tower. So Mega Knight, I think my opponent's getting pretty desperate. Knight to defend archers as well. Bar Barrel, here's where Bar Barrel's way better than Log, because the Barbarian's going to spawn out and take out the Wizard as well. Yep, perfect. And this Goblin Hut placement is high enough, so if he goes for anything in the other lane, it should get pulled. But just in case, I'm also going to go for another one and fireball all this back to reset the Ram Rider's charge. Spear Goblins for the mini P.E.K.K.A. And as you can see, yep, look at all the chip that my spawner's getting in the left, because my opponent was going all in the right. So yeah, spawners with Xbow, I do apologize. This deck is actually a lot of fun though. I honestly might play something like this and the road to 112 in classic challenges because it's like really fun. But yeah, 3.6 Xbow double spawners. So next match against Kovix 19. Gonna go Spear Goblins. And he goes for Goblin Cage. So Goblin Cage is going to be a pretty solid card in the meta right now, and just overall. I'm just going to go for Archers. Now this might not be good because I just used both my main air defensive cards, but we'll see. He goes for a Log, so I'm going to go for a Furnace now. And see if he has some kind of spell against the Furnace. He does Fireball it. But Fire Spirit's going to hit Tower. There's going to be another one spawned as well. Actually, 2 more spawn, wow. And he's going to zap them. So now I'm going to go for a Barb Barrel. And he did just waste his Fireball. And it actually Fireball the Musketeer. I was about to use my Goblin Hut, because my logic was he just uses Fireball. He might not have a great response to this Hut. And that logic does still stand, though. So I'm going to go for a Hut now. Into his Goblin Cage. But Spears will DPS down the Goblin Brawler's Cage. And once it pops out, I can just distract it with something like Spear Goblins. So we'll go for Spear Goblins now. And my opponent is not going to have a great response to this, actually. So going to go for a Furnace now. Goes for a Baby Dragon. Yeah, like in this situation, I would love to have a Mega Minion, actually. For something like this Baby Dragon. But he actually just... I shouldn't have split Archers. I should have gone for an Xbow right away. Because he just spent 4 with the Baby Dragon. 4 more with the Fireball. He's going to be low in Elixir. Yep, I'm going to Fireball this because it's going to get instantly taken out. I didn't need to Fireball. Actually, it looks like Fireball was the best play there because of the fact that he went for a Zap. If he didn't Zap, shouldn't have Fireballed. But because he did, the play worked out really well. And I guess I'm just going to Knight here. There are some tricks you can do with like Spear Goblins or Skeletons against the Baby Dragon. But no need to get fancy. Knight just forces out the Goblin Cage anyway. And I can go for another Hut, and we already got 1 connection and some really nice damage from Fireball and the spawners before, and so we're already in a really good spot just to win this game, honestly. So this is honestly pretty toxic, but I'm gonna go for a defensive Xbow. This is a triple building Xbow deck, I guess, and is gonna have a P.E.K.K.A. So gonna go for Spears. Musketeer gonna get Fireballed. So now I wish I could log, right? Because his tower is just in range of getting logged. But it's really not a big deal. I can still go for Barb Barrel, hit the P.E.K.K.A., take out the Musketeer, hit the Goblin Brawler. And Archers now. Goblin Hut is doing pretty good. And I'm going to go for an Xbow now, since he's going to have a Ram Rider. So Furnace. And again, like I said, this is, when I was saying last game where I like to play things as if it wasn't the end of the match. I would have gone for that Xbow since I had a really good kind of offensive presence. And as you can see, he didn't have any Elixir to defend. And he probably gave up after that, but it was a really good position for me. So, yeah, I really like practicing like that. But that's going to be the second win. 1 more to go for the double spawner. 3 victories in a row. We haven't actually lost yet, so that's really great too. Really happy about that. I don't know which one is safer to go for between Furnace and Goblin Hut first play. The dilemma of a spawner player. Maybe Furnace since it's cheaper. So I guess I'm going to go for a Furnace. And he's going to have a Miner, so Miner Wall Breakers. Let's see if he has a spell with this. Nope, going to have Dark Goblin. So I'm going to go for Spear Goblins after the Dark Goblin locks on to my Furnace. And Spear Goblins plus Fire Spirit's going to counter push. Fire Spirit going to hit Tower and give us a damage lead, actually. So now we have another spawner, the Goblin Hut. Oh, and he's going to have Inferno Dragon, so that's going to be kind of problematic. We're going to need Archers for that. Going to Knight to predict his Miner on my Hut. Looks like he didn't. Gonna Barb Barrel on these Wall Breakers though, because I don't want them to explode. Still exploded, unfortunately, but Archers now. And I think I'm gonna Xbow, even though my Knight is dead, so I don't really have a good tank right now. I think my opponent's gonna be pretty low in Elixir. And looks like I was right. 2 Elixir Bats get fully taken out by the Archers. Miner gonna predict with Spear Goblins in the back. I feel like that was kind of not the best Miner, because I had Archers in the front, so that's why I feel like he should have gone in the back. That's why I predicted the back, but that's going to be Tower, actually. Xbow should eat both of these Wall Breakers, so really good Xbow eating the Wall Breakers too, fully. And yeah, we're in a really good spot. Just Xbow double spawners putting in work right now. So Fire Spirit. My opponent might actually give up, or maybe he just doesn't have a spell or something. But yeah, spawners are... Okay, he's not even giving up. Spawners are just so devastating against anyone who doesn't have a spell. A big spell. So... Mega Knight. After it jumps, I'm going to go for the Knight. And Barb Barrel. So Barb Barrel doesn't one-shot Princess or Dark Goblin. Log does. So that's another downside of the Barb Barrel compared to them. Honestly fine with eating those wall breakers. I mean, it's not a big deal. I have some Spear Goblins counter pushing, and I can go for an Xbow. And Fireball this Inferno back. Spear Goblins helping out against the Inferno too. Archers as well. And I guess Barb Barrel. And looks like I hit the wall breakers. That was not meant to be a prediction. That was actually meant to take out the Dark Goblin, but it worked both ways. So both towers down now. So the Goblin Hut really helped out with that Expo actually, because the Spear Goblin just incidentally giving me value really worked out. And this is pretty toxic. Triple buildings on the map right now. You know, all these buildings were nerfed pretty hard. I mean, spawners I will admit are kind of toxic. Expo, I'm obviously biased as an Expo player, but I do think Expo is undeservedly nerfed, right? So all these buildings, as you can see, their lifetime just drains away. And yeah, just the 3 Musketeers of Sadness, I guess. But yeah, that's going to be third win, unlocking the Royal Wild Chest, so we should get some really nice wild cards. Unfortunately, we're not level 14 on this account. Far from it. I think we're level 9 or 10. But, okay, let's... Oh wow, I got 11 Expos. That's really fitting, actually. We get a legendary wild card, inventory full. So we unlock the Magic Archer, actually. That's nice. I really wanted that, so... Yeah. Arena 10 done. That was Arena 6 to Arena 10 with 5 different Expo decks, as you can see. We used, for Arena 6, I don't mind these older games, I was just playing a bit on ladder. By the way, I am working on a mid-ladder video. I'm like on the theory crafting so far and like concepts of how I want to do it, but I do want it to be pretty much a perfect video. I want to make like the ideal mid-ladder guide. So... that's in the works. Not sure if I'll do it on this account or another one, but we'll see. But yeah, so for the first one, I just played Expo with Inferno Tower. Pretty fun. Mega Minion 2. Second one, Arena 6. That was Arena 6. Arena 7, I played Expo Double Prince. Super fun as well. Mega Minion, so fun. Arena 8, I played Expo 2.9 with Inferno Tower, because it was Frozen Peak. Wanted to use all these snowy cards. Then, for Jungle Arena, Arena 9, I played Dark Goblin. I guess Dark Goblin fits with the Jungle Arena pretty well. So, I played an Expo deck that was, I would say, really high skill. I mean, no building at all. Really fast cycle, but no building. So, just really depends on your mechanics. And, like, for example, this first match, I was really proud of winning that. And then I played Expo Double Spawners to end it off. I know, not the best note to end it off on. But, yeah, that's going to be... the arena challenge so far, guys, because it's 1 hour and 12 minutes, almost 13 right now. I do definitely need to eat, and I want to finish it with different Expo decks, but I think it's best to split this into 2 videos, so I'm sure a lot of you would agree as well. And I really doubt people are going to be watching right now. I mean, 1 hour 13 straight. I know attention spans these days are going down as well, but if you are still watching, wow, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed kind of the casual, more laid-back kind of video today. I think it's fun to kind of spread out content and just do a lot of fun different things. And I know I should have done something like this a lot earlier, because Arena Challenge has been going on for a while now. People probably don't care that much about it. But this is my first time playing it and finishing it, so I felt like I might as well just make a video on it with Expo. And I had a lot of fun. So next up, in part 2, we're going to be doing Arenas 11 to 15. And I'm going to be looking at decks that I haven't played so far, so I'm... not sure if I'll do 3.0 Expo, because that's obviously going to be the best one, and that I'll unlock in Electro Valley, Tesla. But I still have Expo Mortar I want to do. I have Expo Bait when I unlock guards. Actually, when are guards unlocked? If they're not unlocked before... oh, they're unlocked in Spooky Town Arena. Okay, so Arena 12, I will do the Expo Bait deck. I guess Arena 11 I'll do the Expo Mortar deck. Might as well just plan these out now. And then the 13 to 15, not sure yet. I might... oh, I'll probably do an Icebow one as well, actually, because I don't know when Tornado is unlocked. I don't think I have Tornado in the challenge so far. It might be actually really high up. Ooh, Tornado's going to be in Legendary Arena. So, okay, so Arena 15, that's settled. That's going to be Icebow. So what's left is 13 and 14. I'll figure something out. And different Expo decks each time, obviously. But yeah, that's going to be the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed the casual, laid-back video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.